Cathie Wood, she is giving you a view which just basically says near-term price doesn't matter. And I found it very disturbing. When I see her buying things, I am shocked at what she buys and how she buys. She buys like someone who just started yesterday. I would never in a million years tell you, but you just wait. You just wait, Sarah, because when that thing comes back, who the hell has the right to say that?
Well, and she also says the market is getting it completely wrong.
Well, there is no such thing as the market being completely wrong. The market is an assemblage of tremendous minds getting together, and you may think they're weighing machine, voting machine. That's all nonsense. The market is about trying to minimize losses and make as much money as possible. That's what the market is. And if you don't think that minimize losses means anything, then you should just be running your own money and nobody else's.
Well, Jim Bear Stearns is fine, don't buy Tesla stock, don't even rent Tesla stock. Cramer has officially lost his fucking mind. In what will no doubt go down as one of the most embarrassing things Cramer has ever said in the public spotlight. Jim Cramer has self-immolated live on CNBC, unreasonably, moronically, and inaccurately attacking Cathie Wood and ARK Invest in terms of their investing strategy. Now, let it be known, unlike many people who share their thoughts in the comments on this channel, I don't have anything personal against Jim Cramer. But I do have a problem when people with large platforms say things that are incredibly moronic, misleading, and just plain fucking dumb, and this is one of those cases. This is among the dumbest things I've ever heard anyone say, and I'm surprised that somebody as intelligent as Jim Cramer can simultaneously be so dumb. I feel it's very important for me to make today's video, because the comments of Jim Cramer on a large platform like CNBC broadcast into so many homes may scare people away from the idea of investing in innovation, and in 5 and 10 years time, they're probably going to regret that. So let's get into it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support.
Joining us now for more on all the market action, Jim Cramer. Jim, it's always great to get your thoughts. What did you make of a day like today?
Melissa, today obviously just a terrible day. The juxtaposition of Cathie Wood on Scott's show with what happened today and what will happen with Roku, the CEO, all very painful. And I think it's painful because there's a lot of new people who've come in, and you and I have been around, Melissa, and we know that people tended to buy these very exciting stories. They bought excitement. They bought price to sales. They bought stories that sounded like you couldn't. You had the future, and there you had Cathie Wood, and you heard this, Sarah. She is giving you a view which just basically says near-term price doesn't matter.
Now, before Jim Cramer gets into his rant about why it's a terrible thing to be disinterested in short-term prices of assets that you happen to own, can't wait for this. I just want to point out something immediately here. We've heard Jim Cramer in the opening comments there describing today, for those that don't know, stock market getting wrecked, as painful and terrible. I love these days. Everything's on a discount. There are loads of great companies who I can buy today for less than yesterday. It's great. It's bargain basement territory. So already we've got 2 very contrasting mindsets and observations about the same event. Cramer sees today as terrible and painful, probably to do with the short-term nature of his thinking and what investing is to Jim Cramer, versus somebody with a multi-decade horizon who's looking out to 2030, 2040 and beyond and thinking, damn dude, Teslas are even cheaper. Hell yeah, and loading up. Let me pose a question. Let's say that you're an investor who has the resources available and already has a financial safety net in place so that they can invest, knowing that they won't need to touch this money ever again, meaning maybe they could hold this asset for 5, 7, 10, 15, 30, 69 years. They'll never be in a position where they're forced to sell because they've already covered those bases. So they're a very long-term investor. To this particular investor, given the fact they will never face a situation where they are forced to sell this asset on a particular day at whatever price it happens to be, is a short-term price of an asset they intend on holding for the long term and will never be forced to sell relevant? Does it matter to them? I would argue no.
Cathie Wood, and you heard this, Sarah, she is giving you a view which just basically says near-term price doesn't matter. But we have people who are terminal value buyers who can't have that staying power. Yes, when you go to play blackjack at the casino, it's 51.49 if you can hang on long enough. but most people can't. And what we're seeing are people who are being blown out, even as she's soothing. And I found it very disturbing.
Jim, should we judge her now? I mean, her highs in her ETF was February. Is the time frame too short? I understand your point. I understand that a lot of people have lost a lot of hard-earned money, but is our time frame just too short to judge, a bet on innovation?
Yes, and yes. Great question here from Melissa Lee. Congratulations. I'm a fan of Melissa. She always seems to be level-headed, seems to have the best functioning brain on the entire panel at CNBS. No offense to everybody else. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Let me explain something about ARK Invest and Cathie Wood for those who aren't aware. It's very important to the discussion. ARK Invest have an explicitly publicly stated investment time horizon of 5 years. This is very, very, very important to the discussion. It appears that Jim Cramer is so blinded by his Wall Street background that he cannot see any other perspective. He's projecting his own values, his own rules about what investing is and isn't, blah, blah, blah. He's projecting his worldview onto Cathie Wood and ARK Invest without even acknowledging their strategy differs. Cramer's talking about a painful, terrible day. Meanwhile, ARK Invest are talking about a 5-year horizon. You guys understand, right? To judge ARK Invest's returns over any period of time other than their stated investment horizon, especially a shorter time frame, is completely, I want to be clear, completely brain dead. What if, and I know this is a crazy idea, but what if instead we were to judge ARK Invest based on their own publicly and explicitly and repeatedly stated investment time horizon of 5 years? Let's see how some of the ARK ETFs have performed over the last 5 years. I personally think this is a fair way to assess ARK's performance and returns. If you beg to differ, please let me know in the comments below how much brain damage you're suffering from and how long that's been an issue. Did I say that out loud? Nah. ARK W. Last 5 years, up more than 200%. Ain't bad. RK, up a mere 198%. Pathetic returns over 5. I mean, that's pathetic, 198%. You may as well just give up, Cathie. Jim was right. Just give up, Cathie. Q, 170% over the last 5 years. Noticing a bit of a trend here. ARKG, the genomics ETF, a sector I am extremely bullish on over the long term, up a pathetic 147% over the last 5 years, versus the S&P 500, up 85%. And of course, I'm sure you saw this one coming as well, Tesla over the last 5 years, up 1,604%. And just for the record, if we examine Tesla stock for a period of, let's say, a little under 5 years, just for reference, Tesla up a mere 25% in just under a 5-year period. If we go out a little bit further, Tesla actually down. Imagine if ARK Invest were investing in Tesla back in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. People would have thought these guys are morons. They don't know what they're doing. The biggest position is, look at this, it's done nothing, it's done less than nothing, it's lost value. Absolute morons, just give up, Cathie Wood, you're an idiot. But of course, we know how this played out in the coming months and years. Tesla stock to the moon. ARK Invest are well aware that the stock market can be extremely dumb, especially over the short and medium term. This is why bargains like Tesla stock in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 existed. I don't want to rub salt into the wounds of anyone who was a little bit late cottoning on to the opportunity in Tesla stock, but I mean, look at this. You get a period of over 5 years where Tesla did nothing, did less than nothing, went backwards. This was a perfect example of the stock market being completely fucking brain dead and not understanding innovation.
But is our time frame just too short to judge, a bet on innovation?
I've been talking to many managers about that, and all of them said the same thing, which is that if it were a traditional fund, all of the money would have been pulled out, because people can't afford to lose that amount. Look, I think that innovation is a terrific thing, but I think that the way it should work is you should have research people, and by the way, I thought it was a great question by Scott as anyone fired. You should have research people who are doing technology, and then it is given to people who do securities analysis, and then it's given to a trader who tries to figure out what's the correct price. She has just clearly skipped step 2 and 3.
Well, I thought we'd never truly know if dinosaurs were able to speak, but thanks to the wonders of modern science, aka CNBS broadcasting stuff like this out into homes around the world, it turns out that yes, in fact, dinosaurs can speak. Round of applause for Jim Velociraptor Cramer. Actually, his noggin looks a little bit more like a Brachiosaurus. Poor Jim seems to be a little stuck in his ways. He just can't see anything outside his Wall Street paradigm. The translation of what Jim said there, Cathie Wood, you're doing it wrong. Need I remind everybody watching that Jim Cramer has a charitable trust, its biggest investment position because he can't personally invest in these stocks anymore. Ford, he's bullish on Ford, the company that makes all the money selling internal combustion engine pickup trucks, the company that makes almost 0 electric vehicles per year. It looks like a rounding error in terms of their total production today. The company whose CEO now is finally publicly acknowledging that Tesla are miles ahead, that they can learn from Tesla and Elon Musk. That company that's desperately trying to catch up to Tesla, the one whose lunch Tesla is currently eating. Yeah, so...
And I don't mean to, I like what Josh Brown said, and I have great respect for her. But the fact, and I would never do this SARC, this short, but the fact is she's more emblematic of the moment. And we had people who were emblematic of the moment in 2000. And they are, and I was just telling to Sarah during the break, true believers. And true believers are terrific. But Melissa, the problem is that, as one of our guests said earlier, there are no bids for the true believers. The only real buyer of some of this merchandise is Cathie Wood. You cannot create a market yourself. Nobody's that big. I do when I see her buying things. I am shocked at what she buys and how she buys. She buys like someone who just started yesterday.
Damn, shots have been fired. I mean, you guys heard it, right? Jim Cramer explicitly stating there that he believes Cathie Wood buys stocks like she just started yesterday. In other words, a translation there. Jim Cramer has effectively said that Cathie Wood is a filthy fucking noob.
Well, but also, I think the structure of it. She's an ETF. She has to stay fully invested. She has to keep buying. I mean, the conviction, I think, is what you're talking about. So would you touch any of these ARK names?
I actually well, okay, so let's distinguish. I actually like some of these companies. I dislike the way they were bought. And I really hate something called hubris. Hubris is horrendous, okay? Humility is important. When I screw up on something, like when I screwed up on PayPal, I own it, I wear it, I'm furious at myself, but I screwed up. I would never in a million years tell you, but you just wait. You just wait, Sarah, because when that thing comes back, who the hell has the right to say that?
You know what? I think, excuse me, link in pinned comment, I think I have a new nickname. Dim Cramer. I know, I'm good, aren't I? I have a theory here. Jim Cramer, when overpowered by emotion, transforms into Dim Cramer. Let me explain. Of course, if you follow him on Twitter and have over the last 2 years, you might understand where I'm coming from. Jim, up on his moral high horse, preaching to Cathie Wood, how dare you, blah, 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 absolutely losing his mind, lecturing about hubris and humility. The irony here is so painful it actually hurts. Jim, accusing Cathie Wood of hubris, when it is he who hasn't even acknowledged ARK Invest's own publicly and repeatedly explicitly stated investment time horizon of 5 years. Yet, up on his moral high horse, casting judgment. Is it possible with a little less hubris, perhaps a little more humility, Jim Cramer wouldn't be self-immolating and embarrassing himself, attacking Cathie Wood and their investment returns over a time horizon that he's projecting from his own worldview? Just asking.
Well, and she also says the market is getting it completely wrong.
Well, there is no such thing as the market being completely wrong. The market is an assemblage of tremendous minds getting together, and you may think they're weighing machine, voting machine. That's all nonsense. The market is about trying to minimize losses and make as much money as possible. That's what the market is. And if you don't think that minimize losses means anything, then you should just be running your own money and nobody else's.
Now, I don't want to go full Tony Robbins on everybody watching, but I do want to point something out here that's super important. People, you and I, everyone watching, we have our own rules and values. This is the way things should be. This is important to me. This is less important. This doesn't matter at all, blah, blah, blah. I like this. I want to avoid this. Everyone has their own way of seeing the world, rules about this, that, and the other. Some people sometimes can be very rigid in their thinking. Jim Cramer is so blinded by his own rules, his own perspective, the way things have to be, there's no other alternative, that he's completely blinded to what Cathie Wood and ARK Invest are doing. Cramer's just told everyone watching one of his rules about investing, the only way you can invest is to minimize losses. That was the literal first thing out of his mouth. So in Jim's world, you have to minimize losses. And in his mind, with a 40-second time horizon, minimizing losses means avoid the stock closing down on a day you happen to own it. This demonstrates the extremely short time horizon that Cramer has set in his mind as the only investment time horizon that could even be valid. Cramer fails to understand that the investors that get the ARK Invest strategy, investing in innovation, know that they have a 5-year horizon and that investing in innovation is inherently volatile. Jim's worldview, you can't lose money, therefore you can't own a volatile stock, rules out ARK strategy by default, and he can't see anything beyond that. Can't even acknowledge their investment horizon. This was definitely Jim's alter ego, Dim Cramer, at his finest. Keep me accountable. Check back in 5 years' time and watch what's happened to ARK Invest returns across the board on every fund that's down over the last 3 milliseconds. I have a funny feeling they'll be up and have significantly outperformed the major indices. Of course, I could be wrong. We'll just have to wait and see. The lesson in today's video is an important one. It doesn't just apply to finance and investing, but to many other aspects of life in general. If you're going to judge somebody and their performance from the lens of investing or anything else, you need to take everything relevant into account, especially their strategy, their goals, and their plan. And in the case of ARK Invest, their investment time horizon. It's kind of important. Here's an example. I track my net worth. I recommend everyone watching do the same as well. I don't have the increments in here. I mean, you guys can figure it out. You know how much Tesla stock I have. That's most of it. Then there's some real estate, and that's about it. But I wanted to show something just to explain. If we had the Jim Cramer or the Dim Cramer perspective here, and you were looking at me, because as we heard, Jim Cramer said, if you don't minimize losses, then just manage your own money, which funnily enough, is exactly what I'm doing. Jim was commentating on my performance, my own net worth over time, probably up until about 2015, 16 or 17. He'd be very bullish. Look, this guy's amazing. He keeps doubling his net worth year after year after year. 100% returns year after year. No one's ever done that before. It's amazing. Suddenly around 2017, the wheels fall off. I lose my way. Suddenly my strategy is no longer working. I'm a terrible investor. Give up. Next minute, to the moon. This is volatility. It's par for the course when you're looking for outsized return, at least in my opinion. I hope you guys and girls have enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts about Jim Cramer and his stance on Cathie Wood, and also ARK Invest and their investment strategy, plus your investment time horizon. I'm curious to see who's watching and learn all of your perspectives. I do hope at some point in the future the penny will drop for Jim Cramer, but at this point in time, he's so blinded by his own worldview, his own values, and his own rules about the way things should be and must be and can't be, that he can't see what's in front of his fucking eyes. It's pretty embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie. Check back in 5 years, watch what's happened to the ARK Invest ETFs, and we'll see how well this Jim Cramer classic has aged. And don't forget to sign up to Patreon with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment to gain access to a ton of exclusive content, over 100 Q&A videos, a bunch of other stuff as well, plenty of perks and exclusive access to my Tesla stock price targets in the bear case, the base case and the bull case, all the way out until 2031. Hit the link in the pinned comment to join Patreon, and I'll see you guys over there. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan, this is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel, and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.